Hi, I'm James. I'm one of the new chaplains at Nottingham University Hospital and Nottingham Queen's Medical Centre. Until recently, I was the vicar of St John's Church in Carrington before I moved into full-time chaplaincy. And one of the strangest experiences for me over the lockdown was celebrating Maundy Thursday tonight, Maundy Thursday liturgy last year. From the privacy of my own vicarage, knowing that people were watching, but I felt very much by myself. And I had a weird, brief experience of what perhaps Jesus may have felt in Gethsemane, when despite asking his disciples to stay and keep watch, they all ran. Maundy Thursday has always brought me a huge amount of comfort and has always been the most significant festival for me in my own discipleship. I know it probably should be Easter or even Christmas, but it's always been Maundy Thursday. Because Maundy Thursday, for me, has always brought the crux of the incarnation home, that in the incarnation we have a God in Jesus who knows what it is to experience isolation, who knows what it is to experience desertion, and who knows what it is, yes, to experience suffering. And knowing that there is a God who stands alongside me in our suffering and in my suffering brings me an enormous sense of hope and comfort, and yes, even peace. In chaplaincy, so much of what we are about and what we do is being. I think sometimes as a church and as Christians, we're so desperate to speak words of hope. We're so desperate to speak words of joy and praise that we've lost the language of lament, that we've lost the power of simply being alongside someone, of sharing in the incarnation, of hearing someone's narrative and entering into their own pain. There is a time for hope and a time to speak of God's great works, but there is also a time to weep. And Maundy Thursday perhaps gives us that time to weep more than any other time in the year. Pope Francis recently wrote a book called Let Us Dream, and in it he says that one of the challenges of the world today is that we're not prepared to enter into another's pain, into another's narrative. Hearing another's pain and being willing to take that on means we can learn and be transformed. And I think what the pandemic has given us all is the willingness to hear one another's pain, to be there for one another. And because of that, to move forward with a sense of hope and with a sense of expectation. The expectation of a transformed world, the hope that God is with us in our ministries to one another, in our being with one another. Tonight, Maundy Thursday, Christ invites us to be with him. But of course, we will always fail. We will always mess up. We're fallen, sinful, to use that language, human beings. We will continue to mess up. But what the pandemic has shown is that we have a God who, in spite of our inability to stay and keep watch with him, is a God who will always stay and keep watch with us. He is the God who's been in the ICUs. He is the God who's been in the homes of the lonely old lady. He's been the God who's been by the teachers as they've pulled hair out after yet another virtual training or teaching session. He's been the God who has been with us in all of our pains. So tonight, as we're invited to keep watch with him, know that he is the one who will always stay and keep watch with us.